Much like every other system out there, the Nintendo Switch got and is still getting a lot of ports, be it games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Pokken Tournament that have outsold their predecessors and they still have a lot of time to go, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in particular coming very close to the 10 million mark in its first year on the market. The recently released Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, doubling the sales of the original in Japan, and with Hyrule Warriors coming, it seems like Nintendo will still be pushing out those ports. But it's not just Nintendo that is finding success with ports on the Nintendo Switch. Companies like Bethesda with the releases of Doom and Skyrim, both of them doing good numbers for the company. And yes, Doom could do better if we go by VG charts, but hey, Bethesda deemed the number good enough that they are still updating, or they were still updating the game until very recently. And with other games like Blossom Tale selling 20 times the amount that it sold on Steam, and saving the company, with also other games like Shovel Knight being the Switch version being the most profitable version of all the systems. It seems that the Switch is still healthy, and with the upcoming launches of games like the aforementioned Hyrule Warriors in the West, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy, Wolfenstein 2, and more, obviously there will be a lot more to come, I thought that now would be a good time, also with the E3 right around the corner, would be a good time for me to post the 10 games that I would like to see on the Nintendo Switch. Also, there will be a few honorable mentions right before number 1, so hey, let's get on to it. Number 10, the Metroid Prime Trilogy. With Metroid Prime 4 being announced last year at E3, the Metroid Prime name and Metroid itself has gotten a lot of attention. Well, it's been getting attention since 2015's Metroid Prime Federation Force announcement, which still, the game suffered more from the timing of its announcement and release than the fact that it was a spin-off of the series more than or the quality of its own game. Mostly because Metroid fans got absolutely livid that Nintendo was making a spin-off, but that's beside the point. Now would be the perfect time to announce and release the Metroid Prime Trilogy in HD. The Metroid Prime Trilogy was already released on the Nintendo Wii in the trilogy form, and then re-released on the Wii U Wii Virtual Console. That's a weird thing to say now that I think about it. And with Prime 4 right around the corner, there will be bound to be new people that have never experienced the Prime trilogy, or even Metroid Prime or Metroid itself, that will try the game out. We're seeing that happen with a lot of Nintendo franchises, case in point, Breath of the Wild and Zelda. So and also it could be great depending on the timing of the release of the Metroid Prime 4. If Metroid Prime 4 comes out, say, next year, late next year, then by the end of the year we could have the trilogy in HD re-released, maybe in August, maybe taking this spot in December, or even just being alongside any other not like any of the other Nintendo Switch titles, first party titles coming out for the rest of the year, and just get more interest and riled up for Prime 4 and the return of the franchise. Number 9, the Paper Mario HD Collection. Well, another collection, but this time for the Paper Mario franchise, and I'm honestly gonna say, I think it's time for it to be, well, released, honestly. Remastering Paper Mario 64, The Thousand Year Door, Super Paper Mario, and Sticker Star, alongside the release of alongside Color Splash, all in the same cartridge or digital download. I'm not gonna count too much on certain games. I mean, they could. I'm not too sure how big the games are all combined, but I believe they could all fit into a 32 gigabyte cartridge. That's beside the point. Maybe alongside an announcement of the franchise return to its RPG roots could get the fans pretty excited. And what better way to get to spread out and create more hype than releasing the collection either early next year or within the year. Number 8. Nier Automata. Well, Nier Automata, since its release, has done pretty damn well on the PlayStation 4. Platinum Games have said, hey, if you guys want it, you just have to ask Square Enix, not us. And, you know, the game's good, people love it, it's selling great, the Switch could, most likely could handle it. And alongside the releases of already Bayonetta 2, which has achieved the highest, as it has outpaced the Wii U version, and is going to keep on outpacing it, hopefully, fingers crossed, and it's already, at this point in time, probably already at the 500,000 mark, and probably will reach the million mark by the end of the year, which would be terrific for the port. Nier Automata just makes sense, be it not only because, again, Bayonetta 2, 1 and 2 already on the Switch, Bayonetta 3 already being hyped up for it, and people just wanting to play that game portable. Not only that, then this actually makes or increases the chances, not only increases, it makes it viable for the main character of Nier Automata to be in Super Smash Bros. God, that was not a good thing that I did there. But hey, people want her in Smash, and the only way they could actually get her is if Nier Automata does in fact release on Nintendo Switch. I think this would be the perfect announcement, and to release maybe in the October window, which personally I'm predicting is going to be filled to the brim with third-party games. And hey, if not then early next year, maybe take the February slot if Bayonetta 3 is not there. Number 7. F-Zero GX. Now, here's the thing. I think it would be a good idea for Nintendo to port F-Zero GX much more than to make a new game. Originally I was gonna say F-Zero GX alongside F-Zero X, but I prefer it to be just GX, as in GX is the least selling home console release of the franchise, selling at about 600,000 units. F-Zero, the reason why I say F-Zero GX needs to be made more than an announcement for a new game. I don't even think they should, like Paper Mario, I said hey, announce this and then announce the brand new game. With this one, I just think Nintendo should just port this and not announce a new game, because let's be completely honest, as much as people want to see F-Zero make a comeback, unlike Paper Mario and unlike Star Fox and even Metroid, the fact that the franchise is not coming is not exactly Nintendo's fault. With Star Fox, Nintendo released a bunch of sequels that people didn't really particularly care for. The same thing can be said for Metroid after Other M and Federation Force, specifically the story of Other M and the timing of Federation Force, and even Paper Mario straying away from its RPG roots. F-Zero is a franchise that falls solely on the fans for its lack of announcements or releases. It's good to remember that while the fans like it, F-Zero GX, I've been hearing it since forever that GX is either the best or one of the best in the franchise and a terrific game. Yet the game sold poorly, and don't give me the excuse that it was the GameCube, for crying out loud. The Wii U did not stop Splatoon from making a splash, pun intended. So F-Zero would be the franchise I would bring back in not a fresh new game, but in an HD remake, just to test the waters. Mostly because for as much as the fans love it, the franchise doesn't itself prove to be a seller. And the best way to, at the very least, see if the market's still there would be with a remake. Number 6. The Legend of Zelda HD Collection. Now, for this HD collection, I'm only counting the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD ports and the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3DS ports. Now, the reason I'm only including these is A, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker were already HD games, and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were on the 3DS and can theoretically be ported to Nintendo Switch much more easily. Not only that, they all fit together neatly because they are the only 3D Zelda games, or Zelda games in 3D, outside of the final two of Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword. Now, Skyward Sword will most definitely be getting its own individual port, which I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't announced at this. I would be shocked if it wasn't announced at this year's E3. And now all the other games, A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, the Four Swords games, the original Zelda and Zelda 2 those could all be a part of their own separate HD collection, the 2D HD collection, but then again, most of those games would need to be brought over to a new engine, and properly remade, maybe in the link between World's engine in HD, which, now that I think about it, would be pretty damn cool. But yeah, for now, this HD collection would just be these 4 games. Number 5, Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. After the increase of popularity given to the franchise by Super Smash Bros. And now the sales data, or the sales results, or the sales, I should just say that, of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the franchise is at a whole time high in terms of popularity. If I'm not mistaken, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is not just the best-selling Xenoblade Chronicles game, but the best Xeno game ever. I'm not too sure if it does beat, in fact, Xenogears and Xenosaga, all those games. But even if it doesn't, the Xenoblade franchise is more popular now than ever. Xenoblade Chronicles X, the president of Monolith Soft has already expressed the desire to port it over to the Nintendo Switch, and Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, really needs that HD touch-up, because although the game, for what it was, for the system that it came out, is a tremendously good looking game, and especially considering the size of it for a Wii game, it's still a game that is starting to show its age, and that HD touch-up could do wonders for it. And hey, it didn't have a fair chance of succeeding the first time around it came out for the Nintendo Wii, the game that was not supposed to come out in North America and in Europe, and when it does, it's right at the last legs of the Nintendo Wii, when at that point in time Nintendo did not care about it. And Xenoblade Chronicles X kind of suffers from the same fate of coming out late in the life cycle of the Wii U, when Nintendo was already gearing up for the release of their next system. It's good to remember, Xenoblade Chronicles X came out, what was it? December 2015, if I'm mistaken, in the West. The Nintendo Switch came out a year and a half later. Now sure, it was a year, not a year and a half, a year and 3 months later. Now you could say, well, but it still was a year. Yeah, but not many games that released in that time period for the Nintendo Wii U were actually successful, or people cared about, or even Nintendo promoted that much. Not only that, the game was in so long in development and for such a long time talked about that after a while people lost interest in it. That's why I think both of these games on the Nintendo Switch, be it together, hopefully, or apart, separate releases, could do incredibly well. Number 4, Kid Icarus Uprising. Now, before we get into anything regarding this game in particular, I must say that yes, a sequel would also be appreciated. The reason why I'm going with the port from the 3DS version instead of a sequel right now is mostly because a lot of people either didn't buy the game or play the game to its full completion because of the control scheme. No matter how good the game was or how good the game is, a lot of people will not buy it because of because of the control schemes. I haven't bought the game because I heard from a crap ton of people that the control scheme is not the best and is actually kind of bad. Not only that, since the game has been out, I've always heard people asking for the game to be released on Nintendo Wii U back then because of that control mechanism, that people just wanted the second analog stick just to shoot it, and I think porting it over the game for the Nintendo Switch would be the best option. Not only that, it would also increase the marketability for the second one, because now a lot different audience than the one that played it on the 3DS would have the opportunity to play it. Now, I'm not saying that the game stalled on the 3DS because of install base. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, the 3DS as of right now, the Switch as of right now has yet to outsell the 3DS by the point in time that Kid Icarus Uprising, the original, on the 3DS came out. But this is a better control scheme would make a lot more people either buy the game for the first time or rebuy the game just so they could play to completion, you know? And I'm pretty sure that I've seen a lot of people that even that enjoy the control scheme say that they would absolutely love to play it with that second analog. That way, hey, the better way to improve, much like F-Zero GX, better way to improve or gauge the audience for the next one, or even increase on the sales of the original, would be with this port. Number 3, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. This is another one of those Wii U games that really didn't get the credit and the sales that it deserved. The game is terrific. I recommend a lot of people to buy it. Obviously there are a few issues with the game, particularly the fact that the gamepad was required especially to play just because of the cell phone and communications between the characters, but it's a very fun RPG that takes a lot of makes the game much more free-flowing, especially within combos, within turns, with characters combining. If you do a move, a certain move I should say, other characters will jump in even if they're not a part of your group of 3. It's a very fun game, a surprisingly good story. I was not expecting the story to be that good, but hey, if the game does in fact get ported over to the Nintendo Switch, then please Nintendo, don't localize it as much. There are certain things that needed to stay because they made no sense, or at least if you're gonna localize it, do it better. There is a particular area or particular scene in the game, I believe it's the second boss, I could be wrong, but the clothing that they replaced the character, the female character with, from the Japanese to the European and American version, absolutely makes no sense, even for the context. Although I will admit, given the text, I haven't read the Japanese text, the Western text, the Japanese clothing would not make any sense, but the Western clothing also makes absolutely no sense. But that's just those are just some of the minor complaints I would have for that game, and I would love to have that game portable on the Nintendo Switch. Number 2, Dragon Ball FighterZ, or is it Fighters Z, or Fighter Z? Weird name aside, this is the reason why I said, this video is being released at the same time or around the same time as the Super Smash Bros. Goku video. Because I want to show people that I don't hate Dragon Ball or Goku. Actually, I love Dragon Ball. Not so much of Goku. He's a good character, but I wouldn't go insane over it. He's not my favorite. But that's beside the point. Dragon Ball FighterZ, or Fighter Z, let's call it FighterZ for simplicity's sake, is honestly a terrific game. I played the beta on the PS4 and it was wonderful. It's fun as hell. Having it portable would be incredible, by the way. Not only that, this is one of the few games I think it will undisputably, understandably be on the Nintendo Switch. The Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 has outsold the PS4 version, at least in retail in Japan. I believe it has outsold overall the Xbox version, not too sure about that, but if I'm not mistaken, it has also outsold the PC version. I believe that is a confirmed thing, that has outsold the PC version. That's Xenoverse 2. Dragon Ball FighterZ coming out for the Switch seems like a done deal. It's Unreal Engine, Namco and Nintendo are good buddies. It just makes sense to get the game out by the end of the year. I think the game either is not going to be announced at E3, coming out later 2018, or to be honest, after they get every single DLC character that they want. But until then, we have to wait, but I really, really want this game on the Nintendo Switch.
You see it in the movies. I wanted to retire from what I was doing, from that line of work. Be a good guy for once, a family man. So, I bought a big house, came here, put my feet up, and thought I'd be a dad like all the other dads. My kids would be like the kids on TV. We'd play ball and sit in the sun, but, well, you know how it is.
It's all over, but the cry.
With the world poised on the brink of war, Voltec is reporting a record number.
going to have to try to lift the curse. Bring her flesh from all 12 of the masters.
Well, come on. Handle that sword.
I'm fine. I can do this.
Looks like we have a new client.
And number 1 is...
The wonderful...
Of course it had to be the Wonderful 101. I'm just gonna let you hear a little snippet of the theme song for this game as to why this game absolutely deserves a remake or a port for the Nintendo Switch.
Danger's coming, looming large, so who's gonna make a stand? 100 Rangers are taking charge, the line is drawn in the sand.
Now, see, that's just a little bit of the theme, and it's epic AF. The game needs to be on the Nintendo Switch because it deserves and needs better sales. Wonder Red is one of my favorite characters and one of the characters I want the most in Super Smash Bros. He actually has a pretty good story, and that's what the game is all about. The Wonderful 101 has a terrific story. It's in an epic finale. The finale is awesome. It needs the recognition and the sales it deserves. Now, the one thing, much like Kid Icarus, that it hampered it was controls. Some people, and a lot of people I believe, had troubles with the controls, and I'll admit sometimes the controls were iffy. Maybe it's the depressed little boy inside of me that has no confidence, that says, hey, if I can master a control scheme for a game, nobody has the excuse why they can't learn the control scheme of a game. If I can do it, everybody can. I am literally the worst, and honestly I'm not that good at controlling games. I mean, not that bad, but then again not that good, but still, the game is wonderful, pun intended. It deserves the sales, it needs to be ported. It's one of the few games on this list that I'm very confident it will be ported to the Nintendo Switch. Platinum Games seems very much in tune of like, we want this on the Nintendo Switch. Just look at what happened, look at their Twitter. Before the Bayonetta 1 and 2 port announcements, they teased that it will be coming for the Nintendo Switch. They have teased it that they want it on the Nintendo Switch, Wonderful 101. So why not? The game needs the sales, the game deserves the sales. It's a terrific, wonderful game. It needs every single bit of sales. Obviously, the install base of the Wii U isn't the primal excuse for this game not having sold terribly well, but it was a new IP in a very dark time for the Wii U, and like I said, Splatoon, using install base does not. Splatoon is the perfect example of why install base does not excuse a game from poorly performing. It's good to remember that this game came out September 2013. It came out around the time of GTA 5, and it came around the time where the Wii U was at what, 3 to 4 million. Now, overall install base it obviously matters, but when a game comes out that early, when there's so little sales, and I mean, there was a Nintendo Direct, but it was not that well marketed, and it comes out at around the time as one of the biggest games of all time, if not the biggest game of all time. Every game suffered from it, but you know, it would be terrific to see this game being ported over to the Nintendo Switch, and that is why my most wanted game to be ported to the Nintendo Switch is
the wonderful...
So there you have it, my top 10 most wanted games or games that I would like to see ported to the Nintendo Switch. So tell me in the comment section, which ones would you like to see coming both in the near future, on the long future, or years from now, or in a couple of months. Anything's possible at this point. So regarding the giveaway that I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, it will be a giveaway, possible giveaway, for once I hit 100 subscribers, and it would be a €15 digital code for the Nintendo eShop. I know it's not a lot, and it's also euros, but then again, the Switch is region free, so I don't think that would be a problem. You would just need to create a European account, but that will be in the future whenever we hit the 100 subscribers. But anyway, on screen it will be right now the playlists for both my newest Smash Brothers speculation series of videos and my Xenoblade Chronicles 2 playlist. Also my 10 biggest questions for Nintendo's E3 video. So remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been the Legend of the S, and I'll see you guys next time.